what it is, what's up. Another health anxiety video on the cut. There's a much longer health anxiety video that I hope gets edited. Who's gonna edit it? I guess it has to be me, but we'll see. So I did one about 2 days ago, which is about 18 minutes long. It's kind of like that one set kind of the backdrop of how I got to where I've been at recently, which is shitty. This one is going to be a little bit more constrained and focused. I just watched a Chantel Thinks video, who is a health anxiety therapist on YouTube. And I'm currently sitting in the ER parking lot. This is what I do to decompress sometimes. And I thought, what if I just like list stuff that I do, or this is how we structure it. So things that I'm experiencing right now, and then checks that I have, self-scanning or whatever, meanings of cope, ways to cope. That's how we'll do this. So I hope this doesn't last too long. I'm a minute in. I haven't gotten to the contest of it, but all right. So here's the meat of the potatoes. So what I think at this moment of my own body, I'll actually go back a couple weeks. I know this is going to start drawing on now. So starting in this whole ordeal, to list it from the top, which would be about mid to late November. I still don't know what like the thing that set it off was, but okay. So the first thing I can really remember that I think falls under this spell is that at work, I had a really busy day around late November. And keep in mind, it's a job I've been at for about 3 years, going on 3 full years, but just early 2022, February 2022. So this job, pretty easy job, like mentally easy. Well, not even mentally, I guess, but just like a monkey could do this job, right? It's simple. It's not easy though, on my mental at least, because it's a job I don't like, right? I'm not going to go too deep into the job. I think I've done job videos before, but basically this job doesn't challenge me mentally. There's no progression, and it's just like the actual task of the job I don't really love. So the clients suck. So this was a day where it was very busy. Like phones going off the bell. I don't know. Phones ring off the wall. And that rarely happens at this point in the job. Like my first year, it was pretty busy, which was hard to endure. I didn't treat the anxiety from then, by the way, anxiety or stress. But recently, like the last couple of years, it's rare that you have a moment like that. It's usually manageable. For whatever reason, maybe it's because of how I treated myself. Basically, these last few years, I've been sleeping like maybe high 5 hours, low 6 hours of sleep any given day, and typically less than that. So I woke up, went to work, kind of felt like shit, I'm sure. I think that's how I remember this working. I tried to grab a smoothie pretty often recently, at least like once a week, just so I can kind of get some of those berries back. My diet was horrible, like fucking terrible. I haven't cooked in like, I'd say probably half a year, and I think I cooked like once all last year, maybe twice. So just despicable shit, a lot of fast food and all the shit you kind of expect from a motherfucker that's a cog in the wheel. So I don't know how long I'm gonna last before I have to turn this AC or this heater back on, but or leave the ER, but you know. So from there, that day in particular, we had our early meeting, which is usually around 8. So I used to get in late as fuck because my brain like is trying to pull me in. And anyway, it's not a job video. So after that meeting, which lasted about maybe 40 minutes, we get into like the actual work day. This is when we start getting the calls come in. Very busy day. And I start shaking, like just full on fucking shaking. And I hadn't had this reaction, I think, before in a while, at least. I couldn't really remember having that happen. Like I thought it was low blood sugar. I mean, I was kind of hungry, but I didn't have any food really. I think I had maybe like a protein bar or something like that, and I had the smoothie, which was it was a 32 ounce. So if you got Smoothie King, 32 ounces is pretty big. The problem is that it's loaded with sugar, so I didn't know if it was like I'm back in the back of my head recently, like recently to that point, I thought like I might have diabetes. Well, not, I guess maybe on some level I thought I did, but like it was like I have a history of diabetes in my family, and I always wonder, like, do I have diabetes? Or am I prone to it, what have you? So I guess I really didn't think because with my diet, if I had diabetes, I would have been long gone at this point. But it just I always thought I was predisposed. So like I was always on the edge, basically. So I know what was happening. Like I was shaking like a motherfucker. I couldn't really walk straight. I tried to get up and like just even walk to like my compadre's desk, like 10 feet to the left. I was like damn about to fall over. And thinking back to this is probably low vitamins, I would think. I never got scanned for this. But I went to the urgent care maybe like a couple hours after experiencing this. I took an early lunch. They did blood work, and they did, I think they just did blood work if I can remember correctly. I mean, she might have did like a physical check or something like that, but nothing important. Blood work, she said, came back fine. I think it was a couple days later. There was something they did that was like immediately turned around, but basically everything came back fine. So I just kind of pushed through it. I felt better after the urgent care visit, believe it or not. I don't know if I think I went directly to eat after that. So maybe it's after I got some food. So it might have just been like, some people, if you don't eat, late or, dinner, if you don't eat a dinner, which I typically don't, and then you don't eat a breakfast, like you pretty much are running like damn near half a day of nothing in your system. So maybe that's what it was. So that's the first thing, right? That's the first thing kind of like, I think that was the first thing kind of really tripped off this recent session. I probably had anxiety before that. Like I think this would have been after, but I went to the ER because of sets. No, I think this might have been before because I had sets and then my heart was just like pumping like a motherfucker. Like I was like, just like, and of course I checked my watch, afterwards because I'm like, my heart's beating really fast. I feel a little bit flushed. And it might have been anxiety on top of health anxiety, on top of like the heart rate. Because I mean, if typically, as I understand, I looked this up very thoroughly as I look up all my shit. If you're having sets, it's a high, activity exercise, and a lot of people don't like breathe during sets, especially a lot of males. If you're like a silent fucker, which I am, you like pretty much you're like holding all that in, so you just like not releasing, not getting any oxygen into your system. So my shit was probably like around, like when I scanned it, it was around like 140. It dropped very quickly as they can do, Apple Watches, but I was just like beating on my chest and I was talking to this girl and like we had a fucking terrible conversation afterwards. So I went to the ER to get that checked out and I think they did an EKG and everything came back fine. So yeah. And that was the first time I've been to the ER in years, like actual years, probably around the last time I had a health anxiety scare, my initial health anxiety scare. So there was those two incidents, which both came back benign. This would have been again about mid-November-ish. From there we get into, I guess good was, so I thought I had I guess I've listed, I don't want to go through all my history again, but to keep it short, I thought I had diabetes, which I didn't. I had my blood work checked. That was fine. I had stomach pain, like really bad stomach pain, which was real because I've had stomach pain even when I like was not anxious, but well, I wasn't going through that spell of anxiety. I had stomach pain. I've had stomach pain for years, like dead ass since like 2019. I really remember it happening, I guess around the time I started initially having health anxiety, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. Probably there was, I mean, I had a fucking terrible diet, like a really bad diet. But I think even prior to that, I've done shit like omeprazole and stuff like that for helping with, because I've always had acid reflux, and I ate like shit. And yeah, I think I had some issues longer than that. But I think it just goes into anxiety. But yeah, I remember even heartburn like as a kid, like a 5-year-old. So like I probably had acid reflux functioning my entire life. My mom had a lot of coke around the house, and she let me have coke like around like 4 years old. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, so I've had acid reflux my whole life. It probably just worn thin with my diet, shit like Takis, Sour Skittles, Coke, all that shit for years. But it was like at a point where it was just like fucking unbearable most of the time, right? So I go to an urgent care. I'm pretty sure this is in the right order. And I'm talking to her, and She does a scan for. Oh, yeah, I had a sets test at that first urgent care. Because I had raw sets recently, and we got that tested, and that was fine. Yeah. So the second time around, I get tested for a UTI, which came back fine, and I get and talked to this was basically a nurse. I don't think it's a nurse practitioner. I think it's just a nurse, and she's like hearing me out, how I've had a stomach pain, all that shit, and she's like, okay, let's try pantoprazole. I forgot the rationale for why she prescribed something like that, but I guess just basically like she kind of felt like acid was eating up my shit. So from that point on, we do pantoprazole. Then I'm going to try to keep this without a full recap. Doxycycline Hyclid about a week later, because she had offered to do either a CT scan or the PPI, and I thought the PPI would be the easier way to go. Fucking stupid on my part, but so we do the CT scan, and from what it shows, just like slightly inflamed stomach lymph nodes, which can occur because of anxiety or stress. Everything else came back fine in my stomach. Just from that was a CT scan with contrast. There's other means like you can. I think an endoscopy or a colonoscopy would show you more stomach, like not stomach, but like small intestine damage. But we just think abdomen, so we think stomach. But anyway, so that was probably going to be enough. But because of the damage that she figured, it might be like an illness, something viral, so she prescribed doxycycline Hyclid, which I don't remember why she did that. Anyway, because that's like an antibiotic. I don't know. So I take that for like a week, maybe 2 weeks. I take doxycycline 3 weeks at this point. So I'm feeling functional, but I'm progressively getting weaker at this point, like physically weaker, mentally weaker. I come to find out many weeks later that it could be because of low magnesium, but I'm feeling like my heart is just like decrescendoing, like pumping weaker. I'm feeling fainter, like literally like just less able to do things. I hadn't worked out, really done any full like exercise in weeks to that point because of just stressing and just that's like just choosing not to go out to the gym. When I would go to the gym, I was like putting like the least amount of work, so it was not like I was in my peak form. I used to fucking just bang out basketball games, high cardio shit, all that. I was not at that point anymore. So yeah, so I'm feeling like even when I go to the gym at this point, like I just probably put in like 20 minutes. I'm feeling like more tired at this point. I'm just laying in bed doing a lot less shit, like literally just going from home or going from going out to going home and just laying down. Which I did when I was like depressed and mad about my job, but like this was like I kind of felt like I needed to sleep more, which I probably did, but I wasn't getting actual sleep. I was just laying down. So after like a week of this, at this point, like I just to get to it, like I'm feeling like I wouldn't say like I'm dying, but like I just feel like my body's like shutting down on me. I can't really like the whole walking shit was still happening. The inability to walk like straight. I could walk for a while. I just kind of felt like I could still walk around, do like 0.25 miles just walking, but it was like a job. Like it was a job to do that, and my heart rate wasn't like much higher, if at all, than what it normally would be. It just was not beating the same way. For me, again, as I said, it felt weaker. It could have been like an arrhythmia or something like that, either because of anxiety or low magnesium or whatever. I don't know. That could have been what it was, but it felt like that. And I just remember like feeling like I was in a daze, like headaches, not even headaches, but like memory fog, brain fog, I guess, memory loss. Shit like that was happening like every day. Like I was just like on the call with I'm probably still recovering right now, but I was on calls with clients. I would just like I wouldn't give a fuck for one, which I guess that might be just where I'm at. But also it's like I just like details just get lost on me sometimes. So yeah, I wasn't getting appreciably more sleep, and my doctor, who can go like entire weeks without like reaching out to me, saying anything like that, just like basically like he has so my structure, one nurse, one doctor. If you don't get the nurse, you may not get the nurse for days on end. So I just stopped even like trying my doctor. This is why I was going to urgent care. So I had a primary, but it was just like, it was so hard to reach my doctor that it was just like, like maybe the anxiety is making me like rush responses, but like I could wait the 48 hours you usually give a medical like facility to respond. That's the max of 48 hours. But like it could be 72, 96, 90, 96. Yeah, 96. It could be whatever amount, and you might still not hear back. I gotta turn this shit is cold as fuck. One day they're just gonna just kick me out of this motherfucker. They're just gonna like not let me come here anymore. Anyways, so at that point, we're just going to urgent cares every fucking like other day at this point for something. I was going to the same. I was trying to be responsible with the same one for multiple things. So I think I went for the stomach pain. I think I went for something else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Because I have 4 visits at that place. I can remember 3, but I can't remember the 4th. Anyway, what the fuck was it? Anyway, so at this point, like I was just feeling all this shit just crush me. And I basically you get to a point where you choose not to sleep, and then you're at a point where you just can't sleep. And I would just lay down and basically like try to micromanage my heart, like make it beat at whatever amount I feel like it should have been beaten at, until a point where I basically would just pass out and go to sleep. Really wouldn't be sleep at that point. It'd be like 4 hours, 4.5 hours of just like feel like shit. But I'd also wake up and feel like shit, just start shaking, and the shaking became just more appreciable all the time. The shaking was where I was really like, okay, something's bad happening, because I was basically shaking. Like my shit could be, my entire unit, which is a very small unit, could be just toasty as fuck, 72 overnight, 73 degrees overnight, and it would still feel like I was just dumped in fucking like frigid weather. My car gets fucked up in cold weather. So yeah, I don't. Let me turn it back off. So we were at a point where I think I might have gone back to them for the shaking, maybe. But I just kind of like realized at this point, like, okay, these people may not like know what the fuck they're talking about. Like not that, but like it just was like a thing where I was like, okay, this may not be the best place to go to. Actually, the fucking I went to a different urgent care for the shaking because they were closed at that point in time, and there's only one place that was open, and I didn't want to go back to the ER because I think I had 2 visits to the ER by this point, and the one was for the EKG after sets. The other one might have been because of stomach pain, I think. Yeah, it might have been because of stomach pain. I was really bad. Like, it was like just fucking burning in my fucking stomach. Which is crazy because I was on the PPI at this point. It was burning in my stomach, and I constantly just felt bloated and shit like that too. So I was like, if I'm bloated and it's burning up, something has to be going wrong. The burning kind of went away eventually. I guess you kind of have to be on the PPI for a bit to get adjusted to it. But pantoprazole, the bloating was still there for a while. Anyway, so the shaking was just like, I was just like, oh, here's what it was. Where the shaking hit like a zenith was I got up, and like I said, by this point, like I would just feel like dazed every day. So I went to go to a coffee shop that I love, and I have not gotten caffeine in really high doses in months because of the anxiety shit. I'm kind of scared to at this point, honestly. So I got a butterbeer latte, no caffeine, and I take this, I drink it, and I didn't have any food because they ran out of food, and they only had pastry anyway, but I didn't have any food on me. This is something I would love to do, is just like not eat for like hours to begin the day out. Like this was like 3 p.m. or something like that, and I hadn't eaten yet. So I got a couple of like little cereal bites, which didn't help. I was fucking starving. I started just shaking after maybe like an hour and a half there. So I walk back and I get something to eat, just so I can have something, because I think, I'm thinking like maybe a little blood sugar, even though like I tested fine. So I do that, and I feel like full. Like I don't feel like hungry anymore, which eating was tough because I just kind of was operating with like a fraction of my full stomach capacity by this point. Maybe because of PPI, maybe because of whatever, that combined with other stuff. So I eat and I lay down because I love to take like a midday nap during a Sunday, which was a Sunday. And even though, I wasn't completely gone towards my sleep schedule at that point. Like, not even sleep schedule, my desire to sleep, because that's what really like got bad. It was like my desire to sleep was like fucking gone at this point. So I try to take a nap. I lay down, try to sleep on my stomach, because the bloated feeling that I would get with the pantoprazole would feel like somehow, paradoxically, like not as bad laying on my stomach. Maybe it actually was worse for me, but who knows? And I do that, and then I just get into like a full. And I'm under a blanket. Like, I will say I like to sleep without a shirt on and sometimes pants, but like I'm still under a blanket, a very heavy blanket. I got the heat on. I think I took a shower before this too, maybe. So and I take hot showers, so should not have been cold. I'm fucking like full on convulsing, like shaking, like not like a seizure or anything like that, but like shaking, like full body. And at this point, like I was fighting. This was like when I was trying to lose a battle against like just checking and scanning 24/7. So I go to an urgent care. This would probably be like my fourth or fifth urgent care visit, and I have the 2 ER visits at this point. And this is like this is like before we really get into December breaks for my job. So maybe like the 13th, something like that, the 14th. So they're telling me like, yeah, I don't think you have anything serious, basically that's all they pretty much say. Like, there's nothing really of value that they don't do any tests really. They're just like, yeah, I don't know. So at this point, I still hadn't given up the pantoprazole yet because I didn't make the connection. That's what was happening. I really don't know what connection I made at this point. Like, I don't really remember. But I was still trying to wing it, and I had my mom coming up the next week over for Christmas, and I was trying to hold on until she got there. I was hoping shit was get better. But it was all I was hoping. All I was hoping. It didn't get better. It didn't get better at all, and I was pretty much catastrophizing every 5 seconds at this point. Like, I was just walking through, like, looking up shit. Like, why am I shaking? Why am I this? Why am I that? Like, I wasn't full on, r/anxiety, Reddit, healthline.md or whatever. Like, I wasn't full on that point by this point, but I was getting close to that point. And I really just kind of receded from pretty much most of anything I would normally do. My coffee shop visits, which I normally would do like 3. And I really don't drink coffee. Like, I would drink like chai lattes, teas, because like I said, I was scared of caffeine by this point, but it was like a social activity for me. Those started waning down. I was kind of becoming like scared to drive like long distances because I get the shaking and like just feel like I maybe like lose motor control. And I'm already like driving, like I'm already anxious of driving, in part because my back, I have costochondritis, which I have not done enough to remedy myself, but I have like, I think I just focus on it, but like when my seatbelt's on my chest, like it feels like I'm being like almost like it starts with a C, being closed in. I forgot the name of it, but that phobia, claustrophobia, like it feels like that, but like it feels like it's restricting my heart. I have very high cardiophobia, so as in part, it's mainly all because of the costochondritis, at least up until this recent stretch. So I just basically recede from social life at this point. Like, maybe I'll go out to 1 coffee shop a week. I wasn't really working out at this point. I usually had about 3 kind of workout days a week, like, maybe basketball, maybe some just light treadmill, but stuff like that. And I wasn't doing that. I wasn't really like, I don't have a lot of friends, so I wasn't really socializing as much, but I did a couple social events that stretch of time, but I was really out of it, like just in a daze. So at this point, I think my heart needs to be monitored. I think my brain is giving out on me. Any bumps and bruises, I'm like searching at this point. Crazy enough, like what I currently have going on, that's my worst thing, is that my left leg, because I guess like if I was being logical, it's happened because of the complete inactivity I've had for the last like month and a change. But that plus having sciatica, I believe has just like rendered my leg like just really stiff and leg pains can feel like other pains. So I've spent, this is like me now, so this is me, I've been off of pantoprazole since January 4th. I've taken a few magnesium supplements, maybe not enough, but I've taken a few since then. I've cleaned up my diet a lot, which, you know, it's hard for me to be worse, but I still have bad moments. Like I ate what did I eat today? I know I went to the coffee shop and I finally got a chai latte, which I haven't gotten one in fucking weeks, which was not good for me. Like that, the chai latte and cinnamon roll, high amounts of sugar. I think I've used to like just put down high amounts of sugar like routinely, which is probably why I was always strung up. But now I don't have, like, I guess either the intolerance or I'm just so anxious that like I can't handle that amount of sugar. Chai lattes do have caffeine, but it's like a green tea amount. It's not a ton. So whatever, like I'm pretty much like the thoughts I'm having at this point is just like fucking ridiculous. I'm like just restless leg syndrome, something that I have experienced recently. I don't know if it's because of the PPI, the muscle issues, muscle cramps, if it's because of anxiety. It's like one of those things. But anyway, the point being that I'm pretty much like moving my legs around constantly, and at that moment, like I was just like fucking doing this crazy shit with my hands, like just like trying to control everything, all these impulses that just center it to my hand. The girl that's sitting by me was like looking like I was fucking crazy, which I probably looked fucking crazy. Before I got to this part in anxiety, I would look to somebody that was doing what I was doing and thought they were fucking crazy. So